So, hey, we're here with AASP PA, the Alliance of Automotive Service Providers of Pennsylvania, and I am Bret, and this is Mike. He is our towing division director, and we're going to be talking about some industry news that is going to be important to you guys, and we're going to hopefully do more of these kind of recordings in the future.
Yep, exactly.
So Mike's going to bring all the ideas and everything, and we're going to do this, and maybe
I don't know if I'm going to bring all the ideas. I'm hoping that people will bring me ideas. That's I just want people to talk to me and tell me what's coming up and what they need.
You're going to be the next content creator. You know that.
I don't know about that.
So what do we got going on, Mike, with the towing division?
So we have the new towing lighting bill, or I should say what was passed back in November, right before Election Day. The Governor Wolf had signed in a bill that Senator Mastriano had put forth, and Governor was nice enough to sign it right before election. And what that bill allowed was blue lights on tow trucks, and it's something that we have been fighting for quite some time. In fact, probably 10 years ago. I don't know if it's been 10 years, maybe 5 years ago. They changed they allowed us to go from just straight amber lights to amber and white. And we weren't real happy with that, but it was what they offered us. We asked for, I believe, red at the time. They came back and said too much issues with red.
That's a lot of emergency vehicles, right?
Yeah, and I really wasn't asking for red. I was just asking for something different.
Something to substantiate the towers along the side of the road rather than just a white or yellow light.
Exactly. And we thought maybe they would go with blue, and I think it was the fire departments that pushed back a little bit on the blue at the time.
The volunteers.
Yeah. And they said, how about white? Like, hey, it's something different. So we went with the white and ambers. I don't know how many towers put it in place. I know I did, because I'm doing anything I can.
You're at the forefront. You better have it in place.
That's right. So I did. And then what I started to notice was that the postal vehicles had the amber and whites, and the garbage trucks were having the amber and whites, and the landscape trucks were having the amber and whites, because they saw the tow trucks with it, and they're like, hey, if they can have it, we can have it too. Even though it was stipulated in the title, I think it's Title 72, that it's only for tow trucks. There was just no enforcement.
No enforcement.
Yeah.
But this is why AASP and PA and organizations like ours are important, because we have people sitting at the forefront of this.
Yep,
and pushing for this.
Yep, we got our lobbyist, John. He's at the transportation committees. He's working hard, getting the information, trying to figure out what's going on. So not many people have a lobbyist, and we're fortunate that we do.
Yeah, and you were also at one of the forefronts with the move over law.
Yep,
you had a lot to do with that.
Yep. I'm trying to even remember.
That's been going back a couple years.
Yeah, that's been a while. So the move over. I also am part of a group of Pen Time, and that's traffic incident management, and that's a collective group of law enforcement, fire departments, PennDOT, Turnpike Commission. We collectively hold meetings quarterly, and we talk about the issues that we have with traffic and the move over laws, and what we can do to better get awareness to what's happening with traffic and motorists.
And how do you think most people find out about this? Like your towers, how do they find out about it?
Find out about what's happening?
Yeah, or these new laws that come into play, are most of them on there, or is it because of organizations that spread the news out?
Well, I think a lot of I think sometimes it's media. This particular law, the blue light law, was pushed out by the media. I don't know. A lot of people weren't aware of it. In fact, as soon as this law was passed, I ordered my blue lights and I got them installed on my truck. And when I installed them on my truck, I made sure I tagged Senator Mastriano I made a video of it, tagged him on Facebook. Just to show people. I wouldn't say that it went viral, but there was quite a lot of shares, and
he had quite a bit of following with his the race for governor.
He sure did. So, what I was surprised with was the negative feedback that I got from
negative feedback.
Negative feedback.
What kind of negative feedback?
So the law stipulates. Actually, I can read it here. If it's 4572.1. The law states that tow trucks may be equipped with one or more flashing or revolving yellow and one or more flashing or revolving blue lights. The blue lights shall only be equipped in the rear of the vehicle. So I think a lot of the people were upset with my placement of my lights and where I put them. I installed 4 lights in total, 2 below my main light bar, which is it's on a rollback, so it's right behind the cab. Right.
I think I remember seeing that picture, and we can insert that in here.
Okay. And then I also placed 2 lights on my side rail of my bed, about 24 inches to the front of the bed. So just placed them slightly to the back, or 24 inches to the rear of the front edge of the bed.
And basically, it's just to be more visible on the road.
Yeah. I mean, these lights, and what it stipulates is that these lights can only be used while stationary. So you can't operate blue lights driving down the road. So I put them on a separate switch because you almost have to. Because if you plan on using your amber lights, which you can use amber lights going down the road for certain situations, we have an issue with a lot of towers out there overusing their amber lights.
Yeah, a lot. We've seen that. I've seen it. I've actually just saw a tow truck the other day with their blue lights blinking while they're going down the road.
Oh, well, see, he probably forgot about them, hopefully.
Now, if he would belong to an award association like AASP PA and get to know you,
he might know the law a little better.
He would know the law a little better.
Yeah, because I think, if I can find it here, where it stipulates.
Of course, it could be like the inspection manual, too.
Well, that's true.
A whole nother ballgame. Yeah, we're not going to open tonight.
We can go down that road another time. So the limitations on blue lights. Tow truck may only operate the blue lights under the subsection, which is telling them where the blue lights are to be located, while the tow truck is stationary on the side of the road or highway while responding to a disabled vehicle. A tow truck should not operate the blue lights under the subsection at any time while the tow truck is in motion. So that is the law, and it also states that if you'd be subject, the penalty for unauthorized use of the lights is a summary offense punishable by a fine of $50, which, I mean, that's, to me, it should be a lot more than that. So,
but you've done a lot of. I know when we have our board meetings, you always have a ton of information, and you are right there with all the contacts with the state police and everything else.
Yep, I work closely with the state police.
So, I mean, belonging to this association, what did it mean to you to belong to this and become the towing division director?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't sure that this was the right position for me because towing, I enjoy towing. Just a little background on me. My father started a business in 1969, but as auto repair. Towing came later. It was just we needed a tow truck to tow vehicles to the shop, and
I had that idea too. Thank God my dad was smarter.
Well, yeah. So for me, towing is a secondary business for auto repair. And I'm not by any means, I'm not a big tower. At one time I had 3 trucks. I'm down to 2 trucks, and it's just me as an operator. I don't hire anybody. So I'm as small as they get. But what that allows me to do is I can view things from towers as a small business operator. The whole heavy duty side of towing, I've learned a lot from that just by our members, and that industry is amazing to me. So I'm able to understand what's happening with them, and I can know what their problems are, what they face. It helps.
So when it comes to this, I mean, how did you get involved with getting to know like the legislative side of this and all the laws? I mean, what drove you to do that?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, it was an eye opener for me, because I was like, all right, you guys put me in this position, and I'm not sure why, but hey, I'm gonna learn. And John, our lobbyist, he said, hey, we got this going on. What do you think about this? I'm like, I don't know much about that. Let me look into it. So just by phone calls and research and working with the state police, fortunate enough, I have a lot of friends that are state troopers. And hey, I need the law on this. Help me out, because these laws are not easy to find. I mean, they're
no, so there's one that we've been working on. And we all know about this. And this is a bill that's about 10 pages long. So
yeah. Bills are one thing, and then the laws are another. Because once they come up with a bill and then it's put into law, then you got to search and locate where this law is, because like this is Title 72 of the Vehicle Code. That's you can find it, but it's not easy.
No, I think they intentionally do that.
Well, I mean, it's funny if the troopers, they have their law books, and it's amazing how big they are. I mean,
is that why they switched to SUVs now, because they got to carry that law book in the back?
Probably, yeah. And so, and a lot of them don't know all the laws, because it's impossible. So if they're not sure of something, they have to go back to the station and they have to research it and find out, and
just kind of like us. I mean, sometimes we get questions when it comes to inspection stuff. We have to research it and find out.
And a lot of stuff. So that, I was talking about the negative feedback that I received. Well, a lot of it's left to interpretation, because I will say this is not very clear, because it says the light shall only be equipped on the rear of the vehicle. So, I put my lights on the side of the truck. Now, it does say revolving blue lights, which revolving blue lights means 360 degrees field of view.
The old school, when you used to be able to see when a cop was tailing you.
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying to get clarification on this law, just to see, because from my point of view, it's to warn motorists from the rear, and that's what my lights do.
And because you're going to be sitting on the roadside with your truck facing more than likely the action until you're ready to hook up to it.
Correct. And
everybody's coming from behind you.
Right.
They need to see so they can move over.
That's correct. And where my lights are located, they can see that. And if we're going to nitpick exactly where the lights are, that's not what this is about. This is about saving lives.
It's about safety.
Yep.
I mean, since I've known you and sitting on the boards, I mean, that's always been your priority as the towing division director, is to bring the awareness for the safety of the tow drivers that are going to be on scene.
Right.
Dealing with traffic, especially you're up there in Newville where you got 81 and that kind of stuff.
I'm on the highway a lot. Hey, lights are lights. We're not saying that lights are going to be the cure all for what's happening. I mean, distracted drivers are distracted drivers, and no amount of lights or whatever we do, the police cars still get hit, fire trucks still get hit. Every day, I belong to a group that shows me people that emergency responders that are getting hit, and it's every day something is getting hit. So it's not going to stop it, but whatever I can do
to make you more visible.
Yep, that's about visibility.
And it's not just for you, and that's why you're an advocate for this.
Yep.
Doing what you're doing. And it's not just for you. You're helping the other towers, whether they're a member of an association or not. It's just getting the word out.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach out to people that aren't members, that aren't aware of these things. Just like, anytime I see a truck going down the road, it pulls into my lot, and he has every single light on in his truck. I mean, it looks like it's beautiful. All these lights are flashing everywhere, and I'm like, that's beautiful.
Santa Claus coming to town.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, do you know when you're supposed to use these lights? Well, when I have a car on. No, your lights are for roadside warning if there's an issue with something hanging off the edge of the road, or somebody can't see your tail lights, or whatever the case might be. You got a load on, you don't need these lights on. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. I was always just told that if I'm towing a vehicle, I got to have the lights on.
Now, that could be also the fault of the owner.
Yeah,
not spreading the word.
Yeah, well,
or not even being educated.
So, and it is. Here's the thing. There's nothing in the laws that says they can't. You can be 16 years old and go get a tow truck and tow a vehicle. Yep. There is nothing in Pennsylvania that restricts a 16-year-old from not driving a tow truck. So we don't have rules we do have small amounts of rules and regulations, and I'm not for that. I don't like a lot of regulation, but we also, I think, in place of regulation, we can put education,
training.
Yep, training, and education, and if we can do that, we don't need the regulation.
No, and that's a big thing. I mean, training. Even I'm just mechanical. Mm-hmm. You got to constantly train, and being a part of training is not just to better yourself, but to understand what can be done to move forward.
Right.
And especially like with this, you got new laws coming up with lights. And if you're not properly trained, you're not going to know.
Right. So I'm hoping that we can get the word out and people say, hey, where'd you get this information? Well, how about you join our association and we can, discuss what the problems are, the issues, and educate and just
facilitate it out. I mean, are there other associations out there, organizations similar that have towing?
So in Pennsylvania, we do have there is the Pennsylvania Towing Association. I'm not sure what's out there with them right now. I think they're reorganizing. Let's face it, COVID hit a lot of the associations pretty hard,
including ours.
People are having to tighten the buckle down a little bit, and they don't have the extra money to spend on things. But I don't know that that's where you. That's the money that you should give up if you're tight. I mean, if this is what you do for a living, if this is your business, you should be. That's the very minimum that you should be doing is being part of an association that helps you and gives you the correct information to operate your business.
And what would you say to those people out there that say, well, it's going to happen with or without me if I belong or not, which in some cases it does, but
sure. But at some point, if everybody has that same attitude,
eventually it's all going to fold.
Yep.
And if you know anything about the Capitol, mm-hmm. and how things get done, you need a lot of voices to be heard.
Voices, yep. Many voices. And if the Senate and our representatives don't see that, this must not be a big issue to them, I'm not going to put forth the work and effort to get the, because it's, if you've ever witnessed what your representatives and senators do, it's a lot. I mean, these guys, they don't stop moving.
I don't envy their job.
No, not at all. I mean, it's from one side of the spectrum to the other side. They've got so many things that they're dealing with, whether it's agricultural or transportation or civil issues, and I mean, it is all over the place.
And they can only be at one of those meetings or hearings or whatever, so
Right.
they'll send a staff member to gather the information.
That's right.
And you know, it's not that it's not important to them. That's why they're sending a staff member.
Yeah.
I know when the Right to Repair Act came up back in the early 2000s, I went down to D.C. and I had an eye opener.
Yeah.
Sitting in those Senate hearings, and it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I would not want their job. So when it does come to vote, make sure you're taking and reading exactly what they're standing for. That's how you got to vote.
Right.
Not one side or the other, what they stand for. And when it comes to us, we do have an advocate with John.
Yep.
He is our lobbyist. And what a lobbyist does on our side, and basically anybody, is taking the many voices that we have up to the representatives or the senators and saying, hey, we have this issue.
Right.
What can we do to get it done? And that's probably how these towing bills, I mean, this is how this stuff all come about. More voices got heard, and they started to listen.
Right. Yep. So it's important to, I encourage anybody to, whether the PTA, the Pennsylvania Towing Association, is good for them or not, I can't decide that. Whether AASP of Pennsylvania is good for them, I can't decide that. You have to make a personal choice, but look for an association that you see actively working that actually has a lobbyist that has somebody in there. And I'm pretty sure that PTA does not have a lobbyist. And
I've heard of other ones that, associations that they might be only one side. They might be mechanical. They might be only collision. Mm-hmm. They don't have towing.
Right.
And we're one of the few associations that have all three.
That we do.
We used to even have a service station side.
Right.
You remember that?
I do. I remember hearing about it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, there was, the service stations kind of went by the wayside. So,
Sure.
so did the division. So, but yeah, make sure you get out there. And as far as training goes, I mean, is there towing training out there that you know of?
So there's Wreckmaster. In fact, AASP used to hold Wreckmaster courses years ago when we had the office in Harrisburg. They had the classroom there, and they would hold Wreckmaster courses. There was classroom instruction, and there was also practical instruction where we would go to a lot, and they'd have flipped over vehicles, and we would put in practice what we learned in the classroom.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
hands-on. That's how everybody learns.
Yep, and it was fun. And at the end of it was actually 2 days. It was a Saturday and a Sunday, and at the end of the Sunday, you got a certificate for your Wreckmaster training. And I'm not familiar, but I think once you're Wreckmaster certified, you can go to any Wreckmaster course and get recertified. That they'll allow you to do that.
And they're still out there?
Wreckmaster's still around, yep. And there's a couple other companies, but Wreckmaster is the most common.
Kind of like iCar or ASE and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But speaking of training, AASP puts on an annual training in October, and it is called Tools. Forget the acronym of it. Technical and Owners and Learning Strategies.
Yes.
Technical and Owners on Learning Strategies. And it is at the Kalahari in the Poconos, October. I think it's the 20th to the 22nd this year. It
sounds about right.
I should have made a fucking should have made a note.
Hey,
See, I keep thinking I'm on my podcast.
No, it's all right. Can't think of everything.
But that's a good training course, and maybe we can look into maybe doing something with the towing up there.
I think that would be good. And this is where, hey, reach out to me and say, hey, I'd like to see this. And, we haven't done this in a while because, I'm only one person and I work. Don't forget, I have a job as well. And this is something that I do on the side, among other things that I do. I'm a board member for Planning Commission for my township. I also am part of the advisory council for VOTEC, our local VOTEC. I'm all over the place. So,
plus you do wrestling.
Yeah, my son.
You're into motocross,
wrestling, and not both my son and daughter wrestle. So, the weekends are packed tight and my evenings are usually tight, but I need help. It's just because I hold this position doesn't mean
you couldn't use help.
That's right. You know, I need, and what I think might not be right. And so educate me. Let me know. I'm learning too. So
I think we all learn every day we open up our doors.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, so how can they get a hold of you? Do you have a specific email if somebody has?
So if they go to AASP at Pennsylvania I think it's .org.
AASP-PA.org.
Yep, and my contact information's in there.
Okay.
My phone number, my email. You can get a hold of me any direction you want.
Yep. So make sure
Facebook, follow me.
Facebook, Mike. What is it? Mike on Mike?
I think it's Michael Hippensteel. I mean, you can.
We'll throw it up.
Yeah.
We could put it in the information.
So yeah.
So you've never sat down in a recording area, have you?
No, this is all new to me. My daughter is a musician, and I got her a recording studio. It's not like this. I mean, she doesn't have the webcams and she has the microphone and the mixer and stuff, but.
That's kind of what got me down. Is I sat in there on that one with David and Lucas.
Yeah, I like watching their podcast when I can. I mean,
and I was like, man, that was fun.
Yeah,
so kind of built my own.
Like it. It's pretty cool. The lighting and I took a picture of it because I'm going to show everybody. But
this is work in progress.
Yeah.
But let us know because we're going to try and do more content like this.
Yeah, I could talk about anything really. I mean, if it's automotive or wrestling or motocross, towing, I'll talk about anything. I mean, you talk about beer, so
hell yeah. I'm empty.
Where's your beer?
I gotta walk upstairs to get it. But this is
can't ring a bell.
No, I don't have a bell down here. I don't have a barmaid. She's already upset sometimes, so I can't kind of get me a beer. It'd be like at what was that, the 12 Pains of Christmas? Eve, get me a beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, make sure you check out AASP, PA, other organizations like that. If you got a question on towing, make sure you reach out to Mike.
Or if you see me or you say, hey, I'm not sure that what you said is correct me, please.
Yeah.
I
know the best way they can correct you. Get involved.
That's right.
Get involved.
Yeah. I mean, come to our meetings. I'm part of Chapter 24 meeting, which is Cumberland and Perry County. We're trying to grow the chapter. It used to be one of the largest chapters out there.
Chapter 8 did as well.
Yeah.
We're trying to rejuvenate our chapter. I got a legislative night coming up in May.
Okay.
And that's always been a good platform for us as far as that goes.
I'm looking to see when we are tentatively holding the last.
You said about like the last Thursday of each month?
Yep.
Up till summer?
Yep. Well, we're going to try and do it through summer and see what happens.
Right.
But March 30th is Chapter 24. So if you're in the Cumberland or Perry County areas and you don't have to be a member.
Just come and see what it's about.
We're inviting anybody. We're going to pick a location. Last time it was at Owls of Hampton. They were gracious enough to give us a tent and say, here, you can have this area here free of charge. And because
they got good beer.
Do they?
Oh yeah, Pizza Boy.
Yeah, Pizza Boy. That's it. Yeah, Owls of Hampton Pizza Boy.
They got good pizza. They got good beer.
Yeah, I mean the people that were there, it seemed happy. I got there a little late because I had a 2-vehicle accident that took me forever to clean up. It was a mess. So I felt bad because I'm the one that spearheaded this whole meeting, and I'm like, I'm going to be late. So I showed up about 15 minutes late. But hey, it happens.
Hey, you were on call. You were doing your duty.
That's what So
what'd you think about?